Hello everybody. I want to talk a little bit about how we can improve our seat, and especially when it comes to how we're using our legs and how we can, constantly work on, keeping ourselves elasticized and strong and, cognitively aware of where and when and how we're using our legs. And so today I want to show you how you just can give yourself a little bit of a self lunge line lesson. And the first thing I want you to do is to take your stirrups, put them crosswise across your horse's withers. Make sure that the leathers aren't twisted so that they're not pinching you on the inside of your thighs. All of those things have an effect onto how our muscles respond to what we want to do. So here's where, you're going to sit, roll your shoulders back a little bit, and you can feel when you just let your legs hang down like this, that there's a little bit of a tug in your hip area where the hip sockets are, right? And that is actually a good thing. And all the way on the inside of your thighs, you can probably feel a little bit of a pull. And if you put yourself into an upright position and imagine your head is like a pear and somebody pulls you up at the stem of the pear, and you just kind of rest there, let your shoulders roll back a little bit, twirl your ankles to your toes a little bit so that your ankles get warmed up, just left, right a little bit, then the other way. And just kind of start to feel, how do my ankles feel? How do my toes feel? How does my foot feel? How does my heel feel? All these different things, pay attention to them and see if there's any stress or any kind of tension in there. And just kind of, feel and feel and feel, and then let them dangle. And then you pay attention to your knees for a moment and think, okay, so just go take your lower legs and just go back and forth a little bit, just like a little bit of a pedaling motion. And again, just pay attention, zoom in into what do my knees feel like, right? Are they loose? Are they tight? Am I holding any tension in that area? It's all these different things that we have to think of as individual parts of a chain. And if we keep tension unlocked in any of these little trigger points here, then there's going to be a blockade. And when you think of yourself as a vertical structure that is sitting on a horizontal structure of the horse, we have to be elastic in all of our different parts, and wherever there's a link that connects this vertical structure, we can't have any blockades. So that's one of the reasons why we're doing this, and we're paying attention to the legs today. So the legs, when you think about, okay, so we were at the knees, now the hips. Hips, you can just kind of take off a little bit of your legs, as much or as little as you're comfortable, as I'm doing right now. And just think of, how would it feel if I took my whole leg off of my horse, right? And if your hip sockets are tight, you're going to have a hard time doing that. And in that case, you can actually use your hands and put them on the saddle pommel and push yourself off a little bit. And you will feel there's a little bit of, where your hip sockets are, your core muscles will get engaged, but also this part back here that connects to your gluteus maximus is going to be engaged. But you want to make sure that you're going to stay very, very relaxed with your butt muscles. You don't want to pinch and lift yourself out of the saddle or above the saddle surface, right? So here's your little bit of this. Just do it, warm up as much or as little as you're comfortable, and then we're going to stretch and do what I call the scissors. I'm going to put Philly a little bit more so that you can really see me from the front. And what it is you're going to stretch one leg forward. I'm going to put the left leg forward. My knee is all the way, it's not bent at all. My whole leg is straight. I pull my toe up. Heel is down, and then I point inward a little bit. And then I'm going to do the opposite with the other leg. I'm going to take my leg and put it back. Knee is straight, toe is up, heel is down, and I'm going to hold this for a moment. And I can feel the tension right here in the front of my thigh muscles, and here I can feel it a little bit in the back, my hamstrings, and then I'm going to relax. And I call this thing the scissors. And I do this at lunge line lesson candidates and sometimes for myself, but the easiest is to do it in the standstill. So I'm going to do it again to this side. Try to keep my upper body very straight. Of course, Philly is very sensitive. She feels my left upper thigh right now a little bit stronger, and so that's why she puts her haunches over. Thank you. That's very considerate of you. Not what I would like to do with you right now, Philly. Though I want people to see me from the front. Okay, so we'll do that one more time. Left leg forward and right leg back, and just hold it there. Breathe, 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 and relax. And one more time. Right leg forward, left leg back. And then breathe. Try not to twist your upper body, just to stay very straight and relax again. Right? And so if you feel any tension in your ankles or anywhere else, just kind of shake it out. You can shake your legs out a little bit like this, and that's a really good starting point. And so I'm going to go and take Philly a little bit here on a circle around the camera, just so that you can see some of these things also when we're in motion. And, just always think about safety first. Think, am I okay to do this with my horse? What kind of day is it? Is it windy? Am I warmed up? Is my horse, in a good relaxed mode? Sometimes it's nice to start out with a thing like this. Or on a day when you're not feeling all that great, perhaps, or don't have that much energy, you could just say, okay, this is all we're going to do, to give ourselves a lunge line lesson in the walk, maybe a little bit of trot, and just let it be a day. Nothing wrong with that, right? So now we're in the walk, and I'm right now holding my lower leg and my toes as if they were in the stirrup. Right? That gives my lower leg, my calf muscles, a little bit of a tenser consistency, because my muscles are sort of held in a place where they become tight. And that way I can go left, right. I can feel my horse's barrel swinging in between my legs. And it's just a very nice way just to kind of tune into how much pressure am I actually going to put on my horse's belly each time I go on left, right with my calf muscles, right? And the idea is always that we're going to put a cupping rather than a clonking kind of sense or feel towards our horse's torso when we're going left, right? So it's a gentle, friendly left, right, and then you can relax your legs and let your toes just dangle down, because if you do it for too long, you might get crampy. And then that doesn't serve anything. That just makes your muscles sore and makes you tired and grumpy. So relax, maybe twirl your toes again a little bit. And then after a while, you're going to pick it up again. Left, right. Toes are forward, heels are down, but not in an exaggerated way. And you're just going to feel how much tension do I need so that my horse becomes, sort of responsive, but also kind of stays in this nice, friendly tone that we're having with our equine companions, that we're not just bullying or nagging or doing anything harsh, but it's just a little hello, left, right. And then we're going to relax again the toes, and now we might want to go and do this little bit of a lifting of the knees. As you can see, it's a little bit of like what we did in the standstill for a moment, but it is really, really such a super great exercise to engage, your core muscles, your psoas-muscles, and it's just left, right, up, down, up, and you can see for Philly, this is not something that we do regularly, and she's responding and looking at and hearing, listening to me with her ears. So I have to pay always attention to what my horse says to all of these different things. If it stresses her out, I'm going to relax my legs for a moment again and say, hey, that's enough. I just wanted to engage my psoas muscles for a moment. Right? Then I'm going to put my legs into riding position again, toes up and forward, and focus back onto my calves. How much friendly left-right bumping can I do and keep my horse in a relaxed, regular rhythm in the walk? And I think that is such a nice way to get started, even, on a regular morning or whenever you're riding, just to tune into, where am I with all of these different things? It doesn't have to be a whole lot more than this. Then relax your legs again, toes twist downward, dangle as if you're riding bareback, maybe in your childhood on a horse through a beautiful landscape or forest or wherever you were. Just think, wow, how nice is that? And as you're letting your legs dangle down like this, feel what is the angle of your pelvic structure. Are you sitting up, up, up and having your back inverted? That's not going to be good because it's going to poke down on your horse's back. So always make sure you're just a tiny little bit more back on your seat. I want to say on the jeans pockets almost. When you're riding like this, later on you can vary your angle, the angle of your pelvic structure as needed for different things. But, just be aware, just tune in, keep breathing, and then you can perhaps pick up the reins for a moment, and see if you'd want to do a few steps of just sitting trot here. And I'm not, like always, people ask me this, should we practice posting trot without stirrups? I'm not a big proponent of that, just because I think it invites people to thrust themselves too far out and above the regular measure of where you need to be when you're riding a posting trot with stirrups. You just want in the posting trot to have a very gentle little bit of rising happening, not this, artificial propulsion of going too far and too high up. So we're just going to do a little bit of sitting trot, and I'm going to breathe in, cup her a little bit, and feel how my legs are and then breathe out and walk again, are just draping downward and around my horse. And now, of course, my legs are, in riding position again. I might relax them for a moment. You could do the same if you like. Twirl your toes a little bit, and then put your toes back up and forward, and then cup with both legs and just sit and let your legs hang, and let them both legs just enhance what naturally happens anyway by the force of gravity and that motion that pulls us sort of forward and inward with our lower legs as we're riding the sitting trot. And then breathe out again. Relax your legs, twirl your toes a little bit. Makes no sense to get crampy and grumpy while we're doing this. And toes up again. Breathe in, cup a little bit, and baby trot. Like I always say, very measured for all of these things. As you warm yourself and your midsection, your core muscles up a little bit, you can go into a little bit larger trot if you like. See how that feels to you and your horse. And breathe out and back to walk. Thaw, and we'll do it one more time. And again, maybe you starting with just a few steps, and maybe then you're going to sit a little bit longer, maybe a quarter of a circle, and then maybe half of a circle, and take as many breaks as you like, and as you feel is comfortable for you and your horse. And I'm doing the same thing here. I'm starting to become a little bit more specific with Philly and say, hey, don't trail your haunches so much, which she likes to do when I'm getting a little bit too, lenient with my seat and with my legs. She does need that input, a little bit of, riding a little bit more like shoulder in and shoulder for, like at times. And then breathe out and say long rein. And, just give yourself and your horse these little ideas of, what you can do together. And that is mostly really what this is about, is to say, hey, today we're going to look at, where our toes are. Do we always have our toes pointing outward? And that may have to do with, the proportions of your leg, your femur to your lower leg, and where your stirrups are positioned. Sometimes when your stirrup bars are too far forward, and you have a longer femur than your lower leg, your knees are pulled outwards, and that makes your toes go outwards like this, right? And so you have to step by step always take inventory and say, okay, so where do I land naturally when my leg just hangs down naturally, and I just have to use, my natural ability to, sit and communicate with my horse in this manner. And then when you add the stirrups, and I'm just going to halt here for a moment, and you're going to put them very gently back. That's a whole other story. Suddenly your legs will feel a lot longer. And you're going to put your feet back into your stirrups. Where is it? There it is. And suddenly you will feel, wow, this is actually quite short. It may feel short, and I'm kind of fishing for it for a moment. But the reality is, I think this is a personal matter for a lot of people, but I think dressage, a lot of times people have this notion of having their stirrups super, super long, and then they're not supported, and like they are not able to support the horse correctly because they're always fishing and sort of stretching their leg away from the horse, and there's not a real way to comfortably close your knee when you need it in increments, and to, use your lower leg very specifically. When I have the stirrup at this length, the way I have it, I don't know if you can see it, but my knee rests quite comfortably against the front panel of the saddle here. And from here, I can go here and here and here with my lower leg position, and it's never a struggle. And I can keep my leg in a certain position when I choose to. And it's not an artificial thing. And at the same time, by strengthening and lengthening all these different muscle groups, I'm more and more able to, use them appropriately and isolate the muscle groups. And as you can tell, I could talk forever about this subject matter. I will stop now. Hope this gives you some food for thought and some ideas on what you could practice on your own with your own horses. And thank you, Philly. And thank you guys for watching, and happy riding. Thank you so much. Good girl.